Namassah Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is importance of self-restraint. Because it is only through self-restraint that one can have a grip over the feelings. And when one has a control over the feelings, one can also have control over tanha, the desires and cravings and so on, the source of all suffering in the world. It is said that tanha dukkhasya moolam, the source of all suffering in this world is craving, desiring, seeking, longing, wanting. Now these are how they become, you see, the source of suffering in the world should be clearly understood. Last time we mentioned that tanha is dukkha, dukkha samula. You see, craving is the root cause of all sufferings in the world, because craving sets off a chain reaction of factors that involve one in all kinds of volitional activities, karmic activities, leading to be born again and again, die again and again, and be reborn again and again, and be tied down to the wheel of samsara, worldly existence. The only way one can get out of this wheel, of this bondage and this wheel of samsaric existence, is by having control over tanha, over desires, over the cravings and longings and wantings and all that sort of thing. And that can be achieved, not that it is it is impossible, no, it is possible, provided you know the source of your craving. Craving arises, it is said, Vedana Pachaya Tanha. Craving arises through feelings, feeling conditions. Feeling is a condition. With feeling as condition, there arises craving, it is said. And if one has a good understanding about feelings, then one can have a handle over one's desires and overcome all the mental defilements that pollute the mind and, involve a being in the wheel of karma and punarjanma. All kinds of volitional activities leading to rebirth. Now tanha has been beautifully put. It is said, tanha vane visaphalang sundaram sugandhang madhuram atha sabba dukkhasya moolam vancheti lokam. A being being attracted and caught in the beautiful vana, into the beautiful groove of tanha, of the beautiful forest of desires, the forest where all the trees are so beautiful, so attractive, bearing such wonderful fruits. The fruits, though attractive, beautiful, they look nice, they have good smell, they are very tasty, but they are basically poisonous foods. And these tastes, etc., the beautiful look and the good smell, the fragrance and the taste and all that, only cheats. They are self-deceptive. And this is how a being is cheated into the worldly existence, by its very attractiveness. To have tanha is very pleasant. To desire is not unpleasant, it is a very pleasant experience. And therefore one wants to desire more and more and enjoy more and more. And this desire to enjoy more and more, have more and more, that is the trap. And beings are trapped. They are cheated into their own self-deceptions and being trapped. So now, if we understand why desire is so attractive and nice and all that, we must understand the source of desire, which is feeling. Basically, there are only three feelings. A pleasant feeling, an unpleasant feeling, and a neutral feeling. If we can, watch our senses, because feelings arise in the senses. And if we can watch, or if we can lay a sentry, so to say, that is the sentry of mindfulness. If we become mindful from moment to moment, keep on watching our senses, what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, and the bodily contact and the mental contacts. So these are the sources of feelings, and if we can have a sentry of mindfulness on these senses and the mind, then we certainly can be free from this bondage of desire and therewith the bondage of worldly existence. Now, just as tanha or desire, craving has been described as the very mula, the source, root cause of all suffering. Vedana too has a very nice, it is illustrated very beautifully. It is said, Vedana pachaya tanha, Vedana sokini nadi. Vedana is like the river of sorrow, sokini nadi. It flows. It's a vast river carrying all kinds of things in it. And it also sets off a kind of chain reaction. It is explained very well in the commentary. It is said, Yang Vedeti, whatever you feel, feeling is experiencing. When you have an eye which is healthy eye, and there is the visible object all around, then the eye and the visible object come, there is an impact between the two, and there arises the consciousness called seeing. So seeing is a state of mind, but the sense eye and its object, visible object, both are not. They are bodily, they are physical phenomena. But the coming together of the eye and its object triggers the arising of a state of mind called seeing consciousness. And when these three, when there is this juxtaposition of the three, when all the three come together, that's a psychological state known as mental contact. It's a contact, sensory contact and mental contact, which simply means impression, sensory impression and mental impression. Now this contact based on this contact there arises the feeling. So if you can have a watch over your senses, where the feelings arise, you can have a handle over the feeling. So there is a beautiful gatha in Dhammapada, gatha number 360. And the historical background of that gatha is equally inspiring indeed. It is said in this gatha, the Buddha gave this Dhamma teaching to 5 monks who were very much bewildered by their senses and the inability to control the senses. So Bhagavan says, Chakkhuna sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sotena sangvaro, ghanena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu jivhaya sangvaro, kayena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu vachaya sangvaro, manasa sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sabbatha sangvaro, sabbatha sangvato bhikkhu, sabba dukkha pamucchati. Here is the translation. Sadhu means good here. Good is restraint over the eye. Good indeed is restraint over the ear. Good is restraint over the nose. And good is restraint over the tongue. Good is restraint. That is, restraint is good in the body or over the body. Good is restraint in speech. Good is restraint in thought. Indeed, restraint everywhere is good. The monk, bhikkhu, restrained in every way, is freed from all suffering. So here the message is restraint, sense control. Once a person develops this ability to have control over the senses, which simply means whatever you see, you have become aware of, you see what you are seeing, and then be very alert what kind of feeling arises by seeing. You see an object, you like it. As soon as you like it, now that is the feeling, a pleasant feeling. So you become very alert with this pleasant feeling, lest you don't become a slave of that pleasant feeling. So when the pleasant feeling arises, you say, this is a pleasant feeling. Let me not get caught by it. Let me be a witness, a sakshi bhava, a witness to this feeling, not giving in to this feeling. If I don't develop mindfulness and develop this sense of being a witness and then comprehend the nature of the feeling, the only alternative is becoming a slave, which means arising of craving, desire. If you like it, if it is pleasant one, and you don't have a watch over it, your mental watch, then you begin to desire it. What is pleasant and what you interpret as pleasant, you want to enjoy it. And once you begin to enjoy it, then the chain reaction of, tanha starts. The chain reaction of tanha I mentioned in the last discourse. He said, You don't just crave. What you crave, you seek. You struggle, you search for it. You pursue it relentlessly to satisfy or gratify your desire, your craving, what you are seeking, the object of the craving. And once you keep on doing that whole life, if you watch people, your own life and the lives of others, what's happening? This seeking, searching for something, pursuing something, wanting this, wanting that, wanting money, wanting property, wanting wealth, wanting name and fame, something of the world, seeking something of the world. Now when you seek, and seeking means to enjoy, you seek to enjoy and you get it because you seek to enjoy it. So, and you somehow get it, you gain it. And once you get it, you seek it more. You want to enjoy more. The more you have, the more you want. The more you enjoy, the more you want to gratify. Which means you multiply your desire, you multiply your craving endlessly just by pursuing it. And once that happens, out of that gain, and you have multiplied your craving and all that endlessly, then comes, you see, the desire to hold on it, to cleave to it, to cling to it, become very attached to it. What you crave and what you enjoy, you get attached to that. And this attachment is the direct source of becoming involved in karma. So when you become attached, you hold on to it. You don't want to share with anybody. So you become mean, you become stingy. You have lots of money but you don't want to spend. You don't want to give it in charity, you don't want to share. In your house you have got a fruit plant, it's bearing plenty, abundant fruit, and you can't eat hardly 2 or 3 or 4, but you can't share it with anybody. You become mean, stingy. And once this stinginess and meanness and all that sets into the mind due to the desire and clinging and all that, what happens? What you cling to, you want to protect it. You want to safeguard it. You have money, okay, to safeguard, go on, open a bank account, not only in one bank, maybe in half a dozen banks, because you are afraid if one bank, you see, Ganesh Ultao, a bank becomes bankrupt, then you have lost. So keep on safeguarding what you have. Your home, your things, your property, your wife, your husband, your children. Keep on holding on them and safeguarding. And from this, trying to be possessiveness, parigraha, is the source of all struggle, my dear. The more you possess, the more you become possessive. And the more you become possessed psychologically, you become more, you see, aggressive. Because you possess, so you want to safeguard. And you want to, you are ready to defend it. You are ready to fight out. You are ready to go to the court. You are ready to defend. Now that psychology of defending and what, you see, that is where struggle comes, violence comes, involvement in all kinds of karmas come, and this is the chain reaction set by craving. And that craving from you see, from feeling. So to get out of these, and it's happening all the time, and people are not aware at all. That is the biggest tragedy. They are caught, but they don't know that they are caught. They want to be caught, but they don't know that they want to be caught. They are cheating themselves, but they don't know that they are cheating themselves. In this darkness of ignorance and delusion, life goes on, and the wheel of samsara rotates on and on. A wise man or woman looks, pauses, and asks very seriously and sincerely, am I not caught? If I am caught in this wheel of desire and all that, born of feelings, does it not make sense that I do something about it instead of justifying? This rationalizing and justifying of desire is the source of all problem, because that creates further delusion. So, here Bhagavan says, indeed, if you want to have a handle over your feeling and then have a handle over your senses, that is, be mindful over the senses and the mind, and develop self-control, self-restraint. How to do that? Set up a sentry on your eye, so to say, and that sentry is mindfulness. Become mindful of all the inputs through the senses. Whatever you see, mindfully. You see it, okay, there is no problem, but be mindful immediately, lest that seeing gets, you see, polluted, it turns into desire. So once you begin to train your mind in this way, mindfulness is what? Training the mind. Be attentive, cultivate attentiveness from moment to moment, and there you are training your mind. The more you train your mind, the more control you have over the mind. And to have more control over the mind means to have more control over destiny. You become the captain of your destiny. You can be born exactly where you want to be born, until your karmic involvement is finished. The potency of every action, karma, should be understood. And if you want to make an end of this potency, the only way is self-restraint. It begins with that. Chakkhuna sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sotena sangvaro. Good indeed is control over the eye, over whatever you see. Good indeed is control over whatever you hear. Some